Hi, I'm Valerie Prizo. I'm a realtor in Brooklyn, New York, and I'm going to walk you through a little bit of how to secure an apartment in New York City. It's a very competitive environment. Right now, it's super competitive. It's always a little competitive in New York. So, what you want to do is be prepared before you start searching, and you don't want to start searching too early, but you want to get ready early. So the search itself, you shouldn't start more than 45 days prior to your moving date. But when I say ready, you want to be ready with the application paperwork. You want to have your paperwork together, and we'll go through the list of what you need. You want to also be, and people make that mistake a lot, they want to search from remotely, and you won't be taken seriously. You need to be here, you need to physically look at the apartment, otherwise you'll be beat by the people who are physically there. So you don't want to search until you know you're going to be available to look at apartments physically. You also need to be ready financially, meaning you need to have the money ready to put down a deposit, because as soon as you like an apartment, you want to close the deal, you want to secure it for yourself, you want to put a deposit, and that's typically 1 month rent. And for your application and to close the deal, you want to have at least 4 months rent available in the bank that you can show. So once you have all that, what is the paperwork you're going to need to produce? The fifth thing you need to be ready is, if you're a student or if your credit is so-so, like below 650, or there's a major issue on your credit, you want a guarantor. So you want to be ready with a family member, ideally, who is willing to say that they'll pay your rent in case you default. And from the guarantor, you'll also need to show financials, and they'll sign something that says they guarantee your rent, and they'll show possibly their credit if your credit is the issue, and definitely their social. So you need to secure that before you hunt for an apartment. Now, the paperwork and what the requirements are to rent are: number one, income wise, you need to show that your income is 40 times the annual rent. Your annual income needs to be, the annual income that you show needs to be 40 times the monthly rent. Say you want to rent an apartment for $2,000, you need to show income of $80,000 annual. What are we looking at in terms of income? Proof of income: an employment letter, 2, 3, or 4 pay stubs, your current checking account and the one prior, and a W-2 or 1040, which is your is your tax return. That's for income. Then you want to show your rental history. That would be your last 3 months rent payment. Could also be good to show a landlord reference, or even better, the prior landlord reference. Thirdly, we want to look at your payment habits. So that would be your credit report. If it's below 650, you're going to need a guarantor, or if there are major issues with your credit. As far as the guarantor goes, the requirements for them is to show 75 times the monthly rent as their annual income. So in our $2,000 example, they would need to show $150,000 annual, and their income statements could be a couple of pay stubs, checking account, or a W-2 or 1040. Then some landlords might require them to run their credit, depending on your credit and the landlord's requirement. Each particulars are per landlord, really, and management companies. But those are the basic requirements and what you'll need to search for an apartment in New York. And then the websites that you want to look at are Street Easy is the main one, and now we have Rent Hop that's also rising, and who knows, in 2, 3, 4 years might be different. So I hope that was helpful, and Laverne will have my info if you have more questions. Thank you and good luck.